Sports Center all night.
The Bengals try to set up an AFC Championship game rematch against the Chiefs.
Joe waits for the shotgun snap. He catches. Pump fakes to the right. Throws to the end zone. It is caught by Hayden Hurst. Touchdown, Bengals.
Brock Purdy and the 49ers take care of business in San Francisco. How about them Cowboys?
Here's Prescott back. Has time. Throws out left. Intercepted. Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner.
An absolute stunner on the college hardwood in Houston.
Over to Dunn. Drives inside. Kick out to Hicks. Open for three. Yes! Zach Hicks, the three from the wing.
Plus, we take you through the Sunday action in the association as LeBron James inches ever so closer to Kareem's record.
This is Sports Center all night. Here's Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM, Channel 80. Emotional day all around Sunday in Buffalo. Snowy Buffalo, that's on the way. But in California, the Cowboys looking to weather the storm that the Niners had brewing. San Francisco with the only scoring in the first quarter, field goal late in the quarter off a Dak Prescott interception in their own territory. Midway through the second quarter, the Cowboys answer.
14th play of this possession that started at the Dallas 29. First and goal, officially at the 4. 3-0 Niners. Prescott under center. It's an I-right formation. He will keep it, roll right, throw it underneath. Schultz at the 1, and he walks in. Touchdown, Dallas.
105.3 The Fan. Good news. Cowboys score a touchdown. Bad news, Brett Maher does not convert the PAT. Technically blocked, but as it was immediately pointed out, it wasn't going to be good anyway. Niners answer with another field goal, retake the lead. Then Dallas gets the ball back for another drive, and they get into the red zone.
Ezekiel Elliott will move into the right slot inside of Gallup here. 2nd and 2 Dallas on the 49er 18-yard line. 3 are left, 2 are right. Here's Prescott back. Has time. Throws out left. Intercepted. Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner. Jimmy Ward tipped the ball, and Fred Warner with the INT.
KNBR, Niners ultimately turned that one into a field goal, and they take a 9-6 lead to the half. Brett Maher would hit a 25-yard field goal in the third to tie the game. Then on the opening play of the fourth, Niners cap a 10-play drive that started 6 minutes earlier in the third quarter.
10th play of the drive, 6 runs, 3 passes, 2 holds for Dallas, as you noted, and here we go. Looking to get in the end zone for the first time today and take the lead back. Oscar. McCaffrey goes left. Debo goes in motion right. Purdy out of the shotgun. Kittle and Juszczyk are right. Ayuk the other side. Handoff. McCaffrey. Touchdown! San Francisco!
That score putting the Niners up 16-9. The teams ultimately trade field goals the rest of the way. 43-yarder for Brett Maher, a 28-yarder for Robbie Gould with 3 minutes to go, and that ultimately would be the difference.
Why would they leave Biotish in to do that? He snaps it back to Dak Prescott. He throws over the middle to Turpin. He gets hammered down by Jimmy Ward. The game is over.
What a way
the 49ers are on their way to Philadelphia.
Now it's on KNBR. 19-12 the final. 12th straight win for San Francisco. Tied for the second longest streak in franchise history, which was in 1984. The only longer streak was 18 straight between 1989 and 1990. Niners get their 36th playoff win in franchise history. Brock Purdy, 19 of 29, 214 yards, 5th rookie to reach the conference championship. ESPN analyst Tim Hasselbeck.
His poise, and I know Kyle Shanahan's talked about, he's the most poised rookie that he's ever had. Mm-hmm. It's incredible because it's one thing to come in and play well in the regular season and kind of people aren't expecting you to play great and guys around you are doing their job. But if you look at really what he's done, he started to create offense, and then now he's doing it in these moments where, look, he's playing against guys that are making $40 million plus a year. Like you just put in perspective, like he's the biggest bargain in these playoffs right now too. This play, which I think really was the biggest play of the game, Kittle wasn't even part of the progression. The play broke down. He looks and finds him, throws back across the middle of the field, which you're not supposed to do. But there's a confidence, a calmness about him, and he feels empowered to make the play which is incredible considering the magnitude of this moment. Like, I don't care that he's played a lot of games in college. I don't care that he's played in the regular season. When you get this, like, hey, this game gets us one game from the Super Bowl, and to basically put it on him the way that they did, I think it says a lot about how he's handled it.
And the play to which Tim Hasselbeck was referring was that play in the third quarter, essentially a broken play. I'm sure you've seen it.
Now they got Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence on the same side over McGlinchey. Going to roll Purdy the opposite way, going left. Purdy time, going to throw back right, and it is juggled, and George Kittle makes the catch to midfield.
Whoa!
What a catch by George Kittle. On the throwback there for Brock Purdy. Bobbled it a couple of times, but was able to reel it in.
Bobble, catch, momentum shifter. KNBR with the call. Purdy was pressured on a career-high 14 dropbacks, but the Niners get the win. 200 yards passing, no interceptions for Purdy in each of his first two playoff starts. Christian McCaffrey, responsible for 57 scrimmage yards, 35 of them rushing, 22 receiving. He also had a rushing touchdown. As for the atmosphere he was experiencing in the stadium Sunday,
it was awesome. Just seeing guys like Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Kyle gave a history lesson of, the games between the Niners and the Cowboys, I think later in the week, and just to understand what this kind of game means, especially this late in the year. So it was an ugly win, but it was a win, and was happy to get it done.
Ugly, maybe. I'd say it's a playoff win. You could describe far better than I. I've never played in a playoff game, Christian. Just how different is playoff football the deeper you get into the playoffs?
Well, I'm still learning, and I don't like to make a whole lot of blanket statements right after games. I'll wait and watch the tape. But, you said it best. The biggest thing in playoff football is just to get the win, however you can, by any means necessary. And the defense did a great job all day. We got the offense rolling, moving the ball a little bit more in the second half, and we took care of the ball. So it was big, and it was a great team win, but definitely a gritty playoff win.
I'm sure you've been asked, Christian, a million different ways. The same question I'm going to ask, and it's about Brock Purdy. This is his first start against an NFC team on the road, right? But when you look at him, he never looks phased. What do you see in his eyes in the huddle during these games?
Yeah, he's got a killer instinct. He's calm, but he's extremely confident. He's everything you would want in your quarterback. He demands the huddle. He's patient. He's hard on himself. He's able to extend plays, and he's been an impressive rookie. Not even a rookie anymore, but he's an impressive player to watch and share the huddle with.
I've asked a bunch about the offensive side. The guys you see and go up against in practice, and the type of confidence, Christian, that it helps create for the team to have when you can lean into the strength that is that defense. How do you describe that side of the football?
They're monsters, man. They fly to the ball. They swarm to the ball. They take so much pride in everything that they do. It's so fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of. I'm very happy they're on our side. But it's just, you see it every day, not just in the way that they play on Sundays. You see it in the way they watch tape, the way they lift weights, the way they train together, the way they do all this extra stuff, and it shows on Sunday. So definitely happy they're on our side.
Niners get the win over the Cowboys, 19-12. They advance. They now head to Philly in a date with the Eagles in the NFC Championship. ESPN analyst Damian Woody.
This is going to be a big challenge for them. As much as, listen, I'm confident with the San Francisco 49ers because I think their style of football travels. But this Philadelphia team, they're a different animal. They're kind of similar to the 49ers in that they're physical in the trenches, just like the 49ers are on both sides of the ball. They got elite playmakers all over the field. But I think the difference is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, that added dimension of the running aspect, those QB design runs, and his ability to make plays outside of above the X and the nose. I think that's going to be a huge challenge for the 49ers defense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I think the speed and the ability to win one-on-one matchups by the front of the 49ers defense, I think is what makes this interesting. You think about how Philadelphia tries to challenge you. They run all these RPOs, and the reason they do that, they never want to go into a bad look. They want to basically go where you're not. So they're reading linebackers. Well, that's fine if you can win the one-on-one matchups that you have either on the perimeter if you're throwing it or with the quarterback run when you do that. But it's easier said than done because the linebacker level players are so talented for the Niners. Their front is really good. And then they've got secondary players too that I think probably don't get enough credit for how they fly around and tackle.
For the Niners, their third conference championship appearance in the last 4 seasons. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio as for the AFC.
Stephon Diggs, touchdown, Buffalo.
Both of these teams turn it over, and both of these teams can rip your heart out with explosive plays.
Wide open is Ja'Marr Chase. Forget about it.
That's why it's going to be one of the most exciting games of the year.
Emotions running high in Buffalo. Damar Hamlin still recovering from his cardiac arrest episode 3 weeks ago in Cincinnati, showing up on Sunday and visiting the Bills locker room prior to the showdown with the Bengals. He watched the game from one of the suites in the stadium. Emotions running high. So was the Bengals offense right out of the gate.
Shotgun snap, short drop by Burrow. The pressure comes from the left. He throws to the middle.
Baby.
Caught at the 9. Chase straight ahead into the end zone. Touchdown on the opening drive for Cincinnati. Joe waits for the shotgun snap. He catches. Pump fakes to the right. Throws to the end zone. It is caught by Hayden Hurst. Touchdown. Bengals. Burrow sucked the Bills in with the pump fake, and Hayden Hurst was wide open at the goal line.
ESPN 1530, Cincinnati scoring on its first 2 possessions. Bills answer with a touchdown midway through the second, but the Bengals take a 10-point lead to the half. Buffalo adds another field goal midway through the third, pulls within 7. Then Cincinnati runs off a 12-play, 6.5-minute drive.
Burrow hands it off. Mixon goes airborne.
He's in.
Waiting for the signal.
Get in.
The officials walking toward the pile.
Come on.
No signal yet.
Wow. Nope, he's short.
They are not going to give it to Joe Mixon.
Zach challenged it.
They've
Red
thrown
flag.
the red challenge flag.
Yep.
They are saying that Joe Mixon was in before being driven backward and is successful. It's a 1-yard touchdown run for Joe Mixon. And the Bengals have a chance to go up by 14.
That touchdown with a minute and a half left in the third, extending the lead back to 14. Review does the trick. Bengals tack on a field goal in the fourth, and then the defense maintains it.
4th and 6 at the Cincinnati 16. The clock running with 7:37 to go. The Bills go with an empty backfield again. 3 receivers left. 2 out to the right, including Diggs. Allen back to throw. Scrambling right. Moves back toward the middle of the field. Gesturing toward the end zone. Throws toward the end zone.
Nice.
It is batted away. Nice. Knocked away by Eli Apple. A pass intended for Gabe Davis. And the Bengals have the ball.
Bills don't score in the fourth. Bengals win it 27-10, setting up a rematch of last year's AFC title game. Bengals will face the Chiefs in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, 5-1 in his career in the postseason.
I mean, it was just one of their best games of the year. Rushing, pass blocking. I mean, it might be our most complete game of the season as a team.
What about the whole refunds thing? Was that an act for you guys to grind? They were already selling tickets to another game, and did you guys use that?
They got to do what they got to do. I wouldn't say we used it as motivation, but I definitely knew about it.
Joe Burrow letting the world know Sunday that it was time to start issuing refunds because it won't be Bills Chiefs. And Cincinnati did it Sunday with a pounding run game. ESPN analyst Louis Riddick.
Overcoming adversity is a part of the National Football League, is a part of sports, right? So when you think about it like this, you come into a game like this, into a hostile environment like this, and 3/5 of your offensive line is gone. And what I've been talking about all weekend is the fact that offensive lines really set the tone at this time of year. 3/5 of your offensive line is gone. And you come out and run the football with that kind of authority. You don't let your quarterback get touched. Joe Mixon looks like, he looks like a combination of Ickey Woods, Joe Mixon, and every other great Cincinnati Bengal running back that's ever toted the rock for them. And you play what is arguably your most, to me, inarguably, your most complete game of the year. That right there stands out to me and says this. It's not just coach speak when Zach Taylor says we're built for this. No, that means 1 through 53. We've got depth, man, and we believe. And you know what? Joe Burrow needed to be Joe Cool in this game. Did he ever look flustered? Did he ever look like a guy who wasn't in complete command of the entire situation? And we haven't even talked about the defense, man. Lou Anarumo, people listen. I know it's not just about making calls at timely points in a game that gets coaches head coaching opportunities. It's about teaching, developing, correcting, developing relationships. I spent some time with Lou Anarumo on the field before the Super Bowl last year. And that was a guy who I walked away going, if you had a chance to interview somebody for a head coaching job, I'd like to sit down and talk to him a little bit more. And he is showing it on the field with the way he's getting these guys to play. Look at all these young rookies that are playing.
Yeah.
I mean, Cam Taylor-Britt.
Big time plays.
It's on Dax Hill. I mean, these guys are playing. This team is fun, man. It's fun to watch.
Bengals are 11-0 when they score first this season, and they've also now won 3 straight road playoff games. What the heck happened Sunday in L.A.? That's next. Sports Center All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, after suffering another disappointing postseason loss, we have to ask, can Josh Allen and the Bills win the big one? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is Sports Center All Night.
Baseball, basketball, pickleball. Those are sports, and people love sports. If you love sports, you should know this. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. Does saving have anything to do with sports? No, but people love sports, so I'm yelling sports out. Hockey, swimming, golf. Not all sports have the word ball in there, so save big when you switch to Progressive. Go sports teams!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Pittsburgh, we're the Steel City, the city of champions. Our grandparents wiped the soot from their eyes with coarse handkerchiefs. Today, we make garbage memes about the tunnels. What happened to us? Are we so divided? Is the gap between our past and the present too wide? I mean, yeah. Yes. But I'm Tad Whistle. I'm John Bentley. We're going to try to heal that rift. Join us, won't you? Check out the Untitled Pittsburgh Sports Comedy Podcast on the Bet Rivers Network, anywhere you find your podcasts.
And now for our bonus round. It's the most stressful season of all. Name it, Dave, for 300 points.
What is winter?
Oh, come on. Correct answer. What is tax season? Sorry, Dave. Whoa, who are you?
I'm April from TaxAct, where we help you file for less and get more.
More for less?
Yep, so you can turn tax season into maximum refund season.
Well, there it is, folks. Tax season's a winner after all.
Switch to TaxAct today and start for free.
See TaxAct.com for details.
The simplest healthy habit to start this new year is one for your dog. Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the cans, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually, well, food. The Farmer's Dog food is developed with vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. Get 50% off your first box of smarter, healthier pet food at thefarmersdog.com/fresh start. That's thefarmersdog.com/fresh start.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you're more ready for life's challenges. BetterHelp is a great therapy option. It's flexible, affordable, entirely online, and it matches you with a licensed therapist. Let therapy help empower you. Visit BetterHelp.com/goal to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/goal. This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
The simplest healthy habit to start this new year is one for your dog. Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the cans, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually, well, food. The Farmer's Dog food is developed with vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. Get 50% off your first box of smarter, healthier pet food at thefarmersdog.com/fresh start. That's thefarmersdog.com/fresh start.
Shopify presents cool sheets from AHA to
I suffered from the wrong kind of hot in bed, heat-induced insomnia. That was my aha moment. Bed sheets that keep you cool. Then I thought, how do I even sell bed sheets? That's when I had the idea that made it all possible, signing up on Shopify.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/Odyssey free. Shopify.com/Odyssey free.
Memphis is home of the Jason and John Show.
With time still left, Lovie Smith said, Davis, win it for us.
Weekdays from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. 92.9 FM ESPN.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
1 win streak. That's coming up in 2 minutes. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio.
Burrow behind Karras, takes the snap, takes a knee. Trent Taylor does a flying backflip behind the line. Joe Mixon begins celebrating, and the Cincinnati Bengals are headed to Kansas City for the AFC Championship game. Neither snow nor cold nor an injury-ravaged offensive line can keep the Cincinnati Bengals from going to the AFC Championship game.
It was their appointed rounds. ESPN 1530. Buffalo weather in Buffalo, but it's a Bengals win. Josh Allen, 265 yards passing in the loss. No touchdowns and an interception. Second game this season in which he's failed to throw a touchdown pass.
Obviously, you want to win all of them. That's the way it goes sometimes. They had a good game plan. Credit to those guys. They came out. They played hard. They just didn't have it today. I'm proud of our guys, how we handled situations throughout the year. We could have made a lot of excuses throughout the year and what was going on, but guys continued to fight. We wanted to win this one. We want to win them all. Those guys played better today.
Offense seeing its share of struggles, but ESPN analyst Louis Riddick says it wasn't just the offense.
Brandon Beane told us back early in the beginning of the season that in order to take that step, they felt that they needed one specific piece, and that was Von Miller. They needed him for games like this. Yep. Games like if they win this game that were coming up next week. They needed a guy who could put these franchise quarterbacks on the ground when they needed them on the ground. And once he left the fold, the pass rush disappeared. It absolutely disappeared. So they're going to have to go back to the drawing board again as far as trying to get over the hump in that regard. Obviously, there were injuries on the defensive side of the ball in the secondary. Down the stretch over the past 5 weeks, Josh Allen didn't play some of his best football. Unsure with some of his reads, kind of second-guessing himself a little bit, turning over the football uncharacteristically. So it's a kind of it's a bunch of different things that led to them ultimately falling short. But I do believe that because of the fact that they really had identified that one piece, the missing piece, having that closer that could deal with these quarterbacks, and then they wound up being one of the poorest pass rushing teams overall in terms of pass rush win rate individually. They didn't have a guy over the past 5 weeks that ranked in the top 40 in pass rush win rate without Von Miller. You can't win in the AFC in particular without having that guy.
And the Bills losing at home. Bengals advance. They will face the Chiefs in Kansas City. That'll be the second game on Championship Sunday, 6:30 Eastern Time. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. To the NBA. Nuggets looking to run their win streak to double digits on Sunday, facing Oklahoma City Thunder with the ball, closing seconds.
Getty giving the ball, looking down the lane to Shea. Pump fakes, leans in baseline, bites home a 7-footer. Thunder 101, the Nuggets 99. Timeout Denver. Oh, what a play call.
WWLS 98.1, the Sports Animal, 101.99. That bucket is the difference, and it comes with 9 seconds to go. Thunder with the 2-point win. They've won 5 of their last 6 games, 4-1 in road games during that span. For Denver, snaps a 16-game home win streak, longest home win streak since the franchise record 23-game streak in 2013. Meanwhile, what a game for the Lakers and Blazers.
Lillard's 3, no good. Grabbed by LeBron. They're not going to foul, and the Lakers are going to win in one of the strangest games of the season. The Lakers jump out to an 18-4 lead, get outscored 45-13 in the second quarter, trail by 25 at the half, and then win it by 9.
710 ESPN LA, 121-112. Lakers trailed by 25 at the half. Speaking of coming from behind,
here's Irving trying to shake Clay. Irving kicks. O'Neal got it to go. Royce O'Neal puts the Nets in front.
So it sounded on the Yes Network. Nets trailed by a dozen at halftime. Their fourth win this season after trailing by double digits at halftime. Tied with the Bucks for the most in the NBA. Nets have won back-to-back games after losing 4 straight following Kevin Durant's knee injury. Suns a 112-110 win over the Grizzlies. Suns 3 straight wins after dropping 12 of their previous 14 games. For the Grizzlies, first time losing back-to-back games by 2 points or fewer in regulation since 2000. 3 straight. Chris Paul, 22 and 11 assists. Straight ahead, what happened to Dak? Sports Center all night. It's ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Greeny, and the Bengals put on one of the most impressive performances we've seen in recent playoff memory. That wasn't a win. That was a statement. We'll talk about whether or not they should be the favorites Monday. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Every pro is an MVP to us. As a Lowe's MVP's Rewards member, you can earn bonus points when you shop select products and brands. Then redeem them for exciting rewards like tools, sports memorabilia, e-gift cards, and more. Join today to become a member and start earning. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any, subject to program terms while supplies last. Points expired end of calendar year. Visit Lowe's.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
92.9 FM ESPN is Memphis's Grizzlies station.
Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. Bain on the right sideline. Catch and shoot 3 after a pump fake is good. Ring it up. Put 3 on the board. Morant gets the assist as Bain gave that pump fake. Defender flew by, stepped left, and buried the triple.
Desmond Bain. On 92.9 FM ESPN.
Pittsburgh. We're the Steel City, the city of champions. Our grandparents wiped the soot from their eyes with coarse handkerchiefs. Today, we make garbage memes about the tunnels. What happened to us? Are we so divided? Is the gap between our past and the present too wide?
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
But I'm Tad Whistle.
I'm John Bentley.
We're going to try to heal that rift. Join us, won't you? Check out the Untitled Pittsburgh Sports Comedy Podcast on the Bet Rivers Network, anywhere you find your podcasts.
Breathe in and out. Let relaxation fill your mind, even if you're super stressed and behind on your taxes like me.
Sorry to interrupt. Who are you? I'm April from TaxAct. You can let go of tax season stress and elevate to a heightened state of serenity with our free expert help and a maximum refund.
Free help? Waves of calm are washing over me.
Good, because here comes a storm of cash. TaxAct, the help you need for free.
See TaxAct.com for details.
The simplest healthy habit to start this new year is one for your dog. Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the cans, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually, well, food. The Farmer's Dog food is developed with vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. Get 50% off your first box of smarter, healthier pet food at thefarmersdog.com/fresh start. That's thefarmersdog.com/fresh start.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
When you're at your best, you can do great things. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you're more ready for life's challenges. BetterHelp is a great therapy option. It's flexible, affordable, entirely online, and it matches you with a licensed therapist. Let therapy help empower you. Visit betterhelp.com/goal to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/goal.
Cool. Heading south to Oxford, east through Arkansas, or are you in Collierville? We're on 680 AM too.
Oh, I just use an old school radio, man.
92.9 FM ESPN, Memphis' sports station.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center All Night, presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $700 on average.
Half-hour headlines on Sports Center All Night.
The AFC is giving us a rematch of last year's conference championship. The NFC giving the Cowboys another off-season without reaching the conference championship. Nuggets have their 9-game win streak snapped, and number 1 goes down in college.
Shed with the inbound, 1.3 left underneath the basket. Puts it up top for Mark at the buzzer. It's short. It's short. The Owls have done it for the 3rd time in program history. The Owls take down the number 1 team in the nation. They come into Houston and knock off the number 1 Cougars, 56-55. Can you believe it?
Kevin Cobb, Learfield, Temple, a 56-55 win over top-ranked Houston. First time defeating a number 1 team since 2000 at Cincinnati. Temple snapping a 6-game losing streak against Houston with that win. 56 points, tied for the fewest in a win over a number 1 team over the last 15 seasons. As for Houston, 5th team to lose 2 home games as a number 1 ranked team. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. So number 1 goes down in college hoops. In the AFC, the 2 seed goes down.
4th and 6 at the Cincinnati 16. The clock running with 7:37 to go. The Bills go with an empty backfield again. 3 receivers left. 2 out to the right, including Diggs. Allen back to throw. Scrambling right. Moves back toward the middle of the field. Gesturing toward the end zone. Throws toward the end zone.
Nice.
It is batted away. Nice. Knocked away by Eli Apple. A pass intended for Gabe Davis, and the Bengals have the ball.
ESPN 1530 Bengals, a 27 win over the Bills. Bengals will face the Chiefs in the AFC title game again. Bengals have won 3 straight road playoff games, 11-0 in scoring first this season. But they were without their usual starters up front, yet they were still able to have a pretty dominant ground game. ESPN analysts Damian Woody and Tim Hasselbeck.
It's important to know this. It's those guys up front and everybody on the offense playing well, and then it's the coaches putting them in a situation to have success. And I thought it was a brilliant example of those 2 things working together, because they weren't running plays, just run plays. And that's just physical football by everybody on that Cincinnati offense. I think that we need to give these offensive linemen credit for stepping in and playing as well as they play. Receivers blocking, but also the plan. You know, the offensive plan was outstanding.
This was an old-fashioned butt whooping.
Just the way you like it.
Just the way, weather conditions, you would think like, okay, if I'm Buffalo, I'm doing everything. I'm attacking that
I'm going to make them prove they can do this.
That's right.
Yeah,
but
I would.
They weren't phased at all on the road. They were the aggressors. I mean, listen. They averaged almost 6 yards on first down. Think about that. Almost 5.8 yards on first down. That's a play caller's dream.
Then you're able your whole repertoire.
Absolutely. Imagine every time you go out 2nd and 4, everything is available to you. And a big part of that is because of how the offensive line was either run blocking or pass protecting in the for their offense.
Bengals have their 5th playoff win in the last 2 seasons. From 1968 to 2020, the Bengals had the worst playoff win percentage in NFL history. Perhaps a bit of a disrespect factor there we're dealing with in Buffalo earlier on ESPN Radio. Our Bengals reporter, Ben Baby.
Throughout the week, you felt the Bengals really downplaying any of the chatter about the neutral side, about not being the top dogs, this, that, and the other. But the second they came off the field, we were standing in the tunnel player after player. We're talking about getting those refunds and talking about people who may have bought tickets. They need to go and get their money back. It definitely felt like that was something that was played up. And this is a team throughout the season. Any kind of slight that's been sent their way, and there has been a good amount of them, they've definitely played that up in the locker room. Zach Taylor, not shy about using things like that as motivation. And the Bengals wanted to go out there and show that they were indeed the reigning AFC champs. They're indeed the top dogs, and they went out and beat the Bills better than they've beaten any team in the postseason over the last couple of years.
What is the deal? Because you would think a team that goes to the AFC Championship 2 years in a row, as well as represent the AFC last year in the Super Bowl, would get more respect. But for some reason, it doesn't seem to take place, especially on a national level.
I think if the easiest answer is this is a franchise that ain't been good for like 3 decades, if we're being honest. A team that hasn't won a playoff game since 89 or 91 or whenever it was, 91, I believe. Then all of a sudden they go out, they beat Patrick Mahomes 3 times over the last 2 years. Once at Arrowhead in the AFC title game, go out, beat Buffalo again. I think people are just, to be honest, it's just hard for people to wrap their minds around the fact that the Bengals have one of the best franchises in the league. And, it's kind of weird for it to come out of my mouth as well. But I think when you look at what they've done, they've beaten a lot of the top teams. They held the Bills to a season-low 10 points. I spoke to Bengal safety Jesse Bates after the game, and he told me, he said, to see the Buffalo offense have 10 points, even at halftime, that's pretty, it's not something you see. This is a team that's playing with a lot of confidence. And even if people aren't saying this is one of the best teams in the league, the Bengals have felt like that for a while. And the more they play like this, it's really hard to deny the fact that they are indeed one of the best left standing.
And Cincinnati is now covered in 9 straight games as an underdog. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio. They now head to Kansas City with the Chiefs favored by 1.5 at the moment. But how healthy will Kansas City be?
Mahomes is hurt after a gain of 4 yards. He got hit hard on this play. McKinnon sprints in motion to the near flat. Mahomes now steps up in the pocket, throws lane wide open, back of the end zone. Touchdown!
Not come out of a playoff game unless they take me out.
Patrick Mahomes leaves with an ankle injury. Team says it's the MRI confirming it's a high ankle sprain, but no further damage. Mahomes, as we saw, returned to the field to finish the game. ESPN analyst Herm Edwards.
Knowing Andy and knowing that the physicians there in Kansas City, I think Andy felt if they taped it up, obviously, he wouldn't injure it anymore. And I think the way he called plays, you could see it was that way. Basically stood in the pocket for the rest of the game and got rid of the ball. But it's one of those efforts, a guy like Patrick Mahomes, this is why he is always considered one of the MVP candidates in our league. It was an outstanding performance. And I thought the takeaway I got from that game was basically when Jacksonville really was still in the game, when they had pinned the Chiefs back on the 2-yard line, the -2. And here's where Andy Reid comes in. They have the backup quarterback in there. And you're saying, well, they just got to get it out of here. The first play is a pass. He threw it to a guy no one ever covers. They haven't covered Kelsey yet. They just don't cover the guy. The guy's a Hall of Famer. Don't cover that guy. Don't worry about it. He ended up with 14 catches. They went on a 98-yard drive and scored. And then I think the momentum of the game went back to Kansas City. Because at one point, it was kind of the Jacksonville had some momentum. They had a lot of energy in their body. And the 98-yard drive after that, lights out. It's time to go home. Pack up the kids, buckle your seatbelts.
And the Chiefs win the game, and now they will host the AFC Championship with Cincinnati coming to town for the rematch. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio.
With a guard and a tackle several yards from him, snapping the ball to Prescott, slant over the middle to Turpin. He's tackled immediately, and this game is over. And so is the Cowboys' season. And the San Francisco 49ers have earned their way back into the NFC Championship game next Sunday in Philadelphia by beating the Cowboys today 19-12.
105.3 The Fan. It was a week ago in Tampa in a game that the Cowboys won handily, that Dallas came away with the storyline to figure out. Their kicker, Brett Maher, had missed 4 of his 5 PAT attempts. Dallas was well in control of that game, so it ultimately didn't factor into the outcome unless you had the over, in which case you took a tough beat on that one. But the Cowboys ultimately didn't need the PATs in Tampa. That being the case, Dak Prescott visibly frustrated on the sideline in Tampa, slamming his helmet at one point. This week in San Francisco, Niners on the scoreboard first with a field goal, but Dallas answers with a touchdown drive. And then
here's Brett Maher for the extra point. Left hash. The kick is blocked. Oh, dear. Oh, boy. But I don't know that that's his fault, but still.
105.3 The Fan. The angle from behind the play would show that even if it wasn't blocked, it looked as though it was headed well left. Dallas still had a 6-3 lead at that point. Mentioned the Niners had that field goal, which incidentally came on the heels of this.
Dak gonna throw out left, intercepted. Diamador Lenore. Dak Prescott just threw him the ball. Diamador Lenore comes up with the game's first big play.
Dak Prescott interception around their own 25. Cowboys bounce back. They score. Late second quarter, Dallas was driving again.
Ezekiel Elliott will move into the right slot inside of Gallup here. 2nd and 2 Dallas on the 49er 18-yard line. 3 are left, 2 are right. Here's Prescott back. Has time. Throws out left, intercepted. Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner. Jimmy Ward tipped the ball, and Fred Warner with the INT.
Dak Prescott, 2 interceptions in the first half, each leading to a field goal for the Niners. Despite the miscues, fourth quarter, Dallas was in an interesting spot. They had the ball down 7, which set up quite the scenario. If they could drive the field and put 6 on the board, would they try to tie it with a PAT or go for 2? Try for the win and, of course, lacking confidence in the kicking game. But they'd have to put together a drive.
Here they go, and the crowd is up. Levi's is lit. This is the last 49er home game of the year. They win, they're going to Philly for the title game. Prescott throws, almost intercepted by Drake Greenlaw. He jumped in front of the tight end, Dalton Schultz, and would have had a pick 6 to end it, and he dropped the ball.
Well, he sure did, because he did everything right except secure the football. He knew that little option route was coming, got underneath it, reached both hands out, and just flat out dropped it.
Avoided disaster there, but they'd ultimately go 3 and out. They'd get the ball back again, down 7, deep in their own territory.
Here's Dak Prescott right up against the end zone. Lifts his right leg. The Otters, the head bob, the snap, full man rush. Dak going to get out to his right, rolling right. Armstead hits him in the end zone. He breaks the tackle to avoid his safety. The ball got tipped by Jimmy Ward.
What's Armstead doing?
Tried to check him. He could have had a safety in the end zone. Dak ran through him, Tim, and avoided the game-ending safety tackle.
Dallas had their opportunities, but could not convert. The calls on KNBR, that possession ends 6 plays later with the final play of the game. Dallas couldn't put together a drive with 45 seconds left and no timeouts. Niners win it. Dak Prescott, 2 interceptions in the first half, which led to 2 Niners scores. Nearly had another in crunch time in the fourth. He had at least 1 interception in 11 of his 14 games played. For the record, no thrown helmets on the sideline by his teammates on Sunday. Niners come away with the 49-12 win over Dallas. Cowboys are eliminated. ESPN analyst Louis Riddick.
In this game, coming into it, you knew that Dak was going to need to play very similarly to how he played against Tampa Bay in terms of being clean, number one. But number 2, again, when you're paying Dak what you're paying him, it's going to be about him making those unique type of plays. It's going to be about CD making unique type of plays. And look, yeah, we can sit here and talk about, well, maybe they should have went for it on 4th down, deep in your own territory, 2 minutes left, have your timeouts. But really, the game was kind of lost even before that. And when you don't capitalize on opportunities against a defense as good as this, it's going to cost you in the long run, regardless of what the coach does.
Let's pivot to San Francisco, who has 60 minutes more in their season at minimum. And we talk a lot about identity in this sport. San Francisco has one. How much does the identity of the team allow Brock Purdy to be Brock Purdy, as opposed to trying to have an identity like a Montana or a Young or somebody beyond his station at this stage of his career?
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you this. Kyle Shanahan has done a great job of actually identifying, or rather establishing that identity, which is this. We're going to run the football in various different ways. We're going to attack the field inside out, both in the run game and the pass game. And then we're going to utilize different forms of play action to attack you inside out. And you saw, okay, so the game wasn't going good for them as far as their running game early on. But then in the 3rd and 4th quarter, inside breaking routes to George Kittle, inside breaking routes, to Brandon Ayuk. That is what their identity is. We're going to attack you inside out. Brock, you can hit those kind of throws. Just don't throw it to the other team. And also do this. Remember, part of their identity is the fact that you don't have to be Superman because we have a great defense. Play to the strength of the football team And if you can actually do that and you can constantly stay in that frame of mind, you're going to win a lot of football games. And that starts at the very top with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan.
49ers with 1 turnover Sunday in the win. They committed 1 or 0 turnovers in each game of their 12-game win streak. Niners advancing. They'll be in Philly on Championship Sunday. They're the early game, the 3 o'clock Eastern game, the first of the 2 games on Championship Sunday. Straight ahead, how will this AFC Championship differ from last year? SportsCenter All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, I'll give you my biggest takeaways from the NFL divisional round. Don't miss that at 7:15 a.m. Eastern on Monday morning. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Monday morning on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
More SportsCenter All Night. Next.
This is Mike Francesa. Join me each week on the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network. This is real sports talk for the podcast generation. Subscribe to the free Mike Francesa podcast today from wherever you get your podcasts.
The Premier League soccer season is heating up. Turn to Betting Weekly English Premier League on the Bet Rivers Network for the best bets and analysis for this week's fixtures. Subscribe to Betting Weekly Premier League today, wherever you get your podcasts.
And now for our bonus round. It's the most stressful season of all. Name it, Dave, for 300 points.
What is winter?
Oh, come on. Correct answer. What is tax season? Sorry, Dave. Whoa, who are you?
I'm April from TaxAct, where we help you file for less and get more.
More for less?
Yep, so you can turn tax season into maximum refund season.
Well, there it is, folks. Tax season's a winner after all.
Switch to TaxAct today and start for free.
See taxact.com for details.
The simplest healthy habit to start this new year is one for your dog. Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the cans, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually, well, food. The Farmer's Dog food is developed with vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. Get 50% off your first box of smarter, healthier pet food at thefarmersdog.com/fresh start. That's thefarmersdog.com/fresh start.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you're more ready for life's challenges. BetterHelp is a great therapy option. It's flexible, affordable, entirely online, and it matches you with a licensed therapist. Let therapy help empower you. Visit betterhelp.com/goal to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/goal.
The simplest healthy habit to start this new year is one for your dog. Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the cans, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually, well, food. The Farmer's Dog food is developed with vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. Get 50% off your first box of smarter, healthier pet food at thefarmersdog.com/fresh start. That's thefarmersdog.com/fresh start.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy.
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
KJM and Jeff Calkins mornings, J&J middays, G&J and GP afternoons, 92.9 FM, ESPN.
SportsCenter All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
SportsCenter All Night, ESPN Radio. We're taking you to Key, Jay, and Max, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. SportsCenter All Night is presented by Progressive Insurance. Giants eliminated by the Eagles this weekend. Saquon Barkley, who played out the fifth-year option on his rookie deal, says he's hoping for a new long-term contract from New York, but is not insisting on topping Christian McCaffrey's $16 million per year salary. Barkley says he's not really all that concerned about resetting the running back market or anything like that. Week 2 of the NFL postseason is now in the books. We are into week 2 of the year's first Grand Slam event with the latest from the Australian Open. Let's check in with ESPN's Matt Walsh in Melbourne. Matt.
Thanks, Jay. Ben Shelton is the latest American to secure a quarterfinal berth at the Australian Open and in his first Grand Slam outside the United States, no less. Shelton is the reigning NCAA singles champion from the University of Florida and took down compatriot J.J. Wolf in 5 sets. Later in the day, number 5 seed Andre Rublev also won through in 5, defeating rising Danish star Holger Rune in a thrilling 5th set tiebreaker in which the Russian came back from love 5 down. Meanwhile, on the women's side of the draw, all 4 quarterfinals are now locked in, and there were a couple of upsets throughout the day session. Number 4 seed Caroline Garcia lost to Poland's Magda Linette in straight sets. Linette will face off with Karolina Pliskova after the Czech 30th seed pulled off an upset of her own against Zheng Shui earlier in the day, while Croatia's Donna Vekic and 5th seed Arina Sabalenka are also through. Matt Walsh at the Australian Open for ESPN.
Coverage, of course, continues on ESPN2. Every match available on ESPN+. On the ice Sunday, Bruins a 4-0 shutout of the Sharks. Bruins 37 wins on the season. Now they're on pace to win 66 games. That would be an NHL single-season record. They have 78 points this year. They're on pace to finish with 139. That would also be an NHL single-season record. Jets a 5-3 win over the Flyers, 10 wins in their last 13. Devils beat the Penguins 2-1 in overtime in the loss. The 1 goal for Pittsburgh from Sidney Crosby, his 539th career goal. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. As for the top sounds from Sunday, let's check in with Kevin Winter.
Number 5.
Jay, we'll get to the NFL and the divisional round of the playoffs in a moment, but there were a couple of plays on the hardwood that garner attention. Like, how about number 1 Houston going down as 19-point favorites to Temple? The call from Learfield.
Shed with the inbound. 1.3 left underneath the basket. Puts it up top for Mark at the buzzer. It's short. It's short. The Owls have done it for the 3rd time in program history. The Owls take down the number 1 team in the nation. They come into Houston and knock off the number 1 Cougars 56-55. Can you believe it?
Number 4.
And Jay, in Phoenix, the Suns were absolutely punking the Grizzlies. Turns out Phoenix wins by 2, 112-110. That's not why we're playing this. How about a 3-quarter court heave that goes in for Zaire Williams? Eric Castleton at the call on ESPN in Memphis.
Rebounded by Okogie, tried to put it back onto the glass, doesn't get it. Zaire Williams grabs a 3-quarter court heave. Oh, he made it from 80. Zaire Williams tells young players, quit worrying about your field goal percentage and chuck it up there. From beyond the other free throw line, Williams heaves it in off the box, and I can tell you, in 22 years of broadcasting with the Grizz, that's the furthest shot I have ever seen made in an NBA game.
Number 3.
All right, now to the main event from Sunday, the 2 divisional matchups. Buffalo and Cincinnati first. Joe Burrow came out smoking in Western New York. Dan Hort at the call on ESPN at 15:30.
Shotgun snap, short drop by Burrow. The pressure comes from the left. He throws it caught at the net. Chase straight ahead into the end zone. Touchdown on the opening drive for Cincinnati.
Number 2.
And Jay, when Burrow was done, it was all up to the Bengals defense. And man, did they absolutely squash the Buffalo Bills. Again, Dan Hort on ESPN 15:30 as Cincinnati salted away.
4th and 6 at the Cincinnati 16. The clock running with 7:37 to go. The Bills go with an empty backfield again. 3 receivers left, 2 out to the right, including Diggs. Allen back to throw. Scrambling right, moves back toward the middle of the field, gesturing toward the end zone, throws toward the end zone. Nice. It is batted away. Knocked away by Eli Apple. A pass intended for Gabe Davis, and the Bengals have the ball.
Number 1.
Jay, our top play comes from Santa Clara for the Niners and the Cowboys. Yes, this was a defensive struggle. There were not many big offensive plays. But this catch by George Kittle, was just ridiculous. Greg Papa had the call on KMBR.
Now they got Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence on the same side over McGlinchey. Going to roll Purdy the opposite way, going left. Purdy time, going to throw back right, and it is juggled, and George Kittle makes the catch to midfield. Whoa. What a catch by George Kittle. On the throwback there from Brock Purdy. Bobbled it a couple of times, but was able to reel it in.
Niners and Eagles for the NFC Championship. In the AFC, Chiefs and Bengals again. ESPN analyst Louis Riddick on the difference this year.
They've shown all year long that this is a very multiple offense in terms of who's going to get the football. Patrick says he goes into games he doesn't know. He knows 87 is going to get his touches, but it could be Kadarius Toney. It could be any of these guys. Jerick McKinnon, you're right. It could be any of them. And I think the fact that organically this offense spreads the ball naturally, I think that is what they know they're going to need in order to go up against a team like Cincy.
Chiefs and Bengals again from Arrowhead. In the NFC, Eagles hosting the Niners. Dallas eliminated 2 more interceptions for Dak Prescott. That's going to do it for SportsCenter All Night. I'm Jay Reynolds. It's Monday, January 23rd, birthday of Sully Sullenberger, the pilot who landed the plane in the Hudson. It was already 14 years ago. It's been a lot longer than that since the Cowboys have seen the NFC Championship game. Key, Jay, and Max have much more reaction coming up next. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up next, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Pittsburgh, we're the Steel City, the city of champions. Our grandparents wiped the soot from their eyes with coarse handkerchiefs. Today, we make garbage memes about the tunnels. What happened to us? Are we so divided? Is the gap between our past and the present too wide?
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
But I'm Tad Whistle.
I'm John Bentley.
We're going to try to heal that rift. Join us, won't you? Check out the Untitled Pittsburgh Sports Comedy Podcast on the Bet Rivers Network, anywhere you find your podcasts.
And now for our bonus round. It's the most stressful season of all. Name it, Dave, for 300 points.
What is winter?
Oh, come on. Correct answer. What is tax season? Sorry, Dave. Whoa, who are you?
I'm April from TaxAct, where we help you file for less and get more.
More for less?
Yep, so you can turn tax season into maximum refund season.
Well, there it is, folks. Tax season's a winner after all.
Switch to TaxAct today and start for free.
See TaxAct.com for details.
The simplest healthy habit to start this new year is one for your dog. Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the cans, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually, well, food. The Farmer's Dog Food is developed with vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. Get 50% off your first box of smarter, healthier pet food at thefarmersdog.com/fresh start. That's thefarmersdog.com/fresh start.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you're more ready for life's challenges. BetterHelp is a great therapy option. It's flexible, affordable, entirely online, and it matches you with a licensed therapist. Let therapy help empower you. Visit betterhelp.com/goal to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/goal.
The simplest healthy habit to start this new year is one for your dog. Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the cans, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually, well, food. The Farmer's Dog Food is developed with vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. Get 50% off your first box of smarter, healthier pet food at thefarmersdog.com/fresh start. That's thefarmersdog.com/fresh start.
WMFS Memphis, celebrating a legacy of sports as the flagship home of the Memphis Grizzlies and Tigers talk. Always live on the Odyssey app and on smart speakers. Say Play 92.9 ESPN.
Prescott back, deep out to the left. It's intercepted. Dallas has turned it over twice today.
Just two throws that I can't have. You can't have in the playoffs. You can't have when you're trying to beat a team like that.
What a catch by George Kittle.
You gave me a catchable ball, and I was just trying to be dramatic.
Hand off McCaffrey.
CMC. Dallas has to have a touchdown to tie with 3:04 to play. Interception might have been dropped.
Oh, that was a pick six.
Yeah.
I've got to be better. Simple as that.
Here you go now. And they got to go 94 yards. 49ers are on their way to Philadelphia.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Key.
How you doing?
How you doing, Keyshawn?
Starting at guard. The 6'6".
I'll take it. 6'6".
Oh, man.
6'6" all day.
No, that's what they say. It's Chicago.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant
Mr. Irrelevant
is going to the
is now Mr. Relevant.
I wonder why they would even call somebody Mr. Irrelevant. He still got
Ricky,
drafted.
not even that. Imagine when you wake up today and you're like, damn, I lost to Mr. Irrelevant.
No, it wasn't no wake up because
I ain't never going to sleep.
You
I
wasn't going to sleep.
Yeah,
I
you're
promise
right.
I promise to God you didn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
You're up
Sick
pacing,
to your stomach.
you're tossing, you turning, trying to figure it out. You probably don't watch Sports City 50 times.
I'll tell you
even
who
though
went
you
to
claim you didn't. You just
I'll tell you who went to sleep, slept right through the night like a baby. I bet you Joe Burrow slept like a baby. I bet you before the game, Joe Burrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts slept like a baby.
Jalen Hurts was throwing.
I know everybody's going to be on the Joe Burrow tip today. Just put respect on Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, by the way,
Beast.
it really might go in the league right now. Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, Hurts 3. Like Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts, he wasn't right. He wasn't 100% and throwing dimes from the pocket.
So that's what I'm saying. So as you would say, oh, he gets a little extra credit for that. You know, a little extra credit. He was hurt. So you give him a little extra credit.
I did. I got him. By the way, think of his resume. I got him third in the league right now. Probably. I gotta think this one through. But he looked great. So anyway,
we're gonna talk about a quarterback that is not top 10 or top 10. How are you framing it this morning?
This is a problem, man. Key. What do you always say? Don't turn the ball over. Everyone been all week about Dak, right? And he got over it last week.
Oh man, when he threw that pick in the first quarter to Diamador Lenore, I was like, okay, so this is what we get ready to do to the rest of the game. We're going to get a ball to the other team.
Hey, those 2 picks, Jay, when you add it up, and that's really the difference in the game.
Yeah, but Key, it's not even that. It's like, okay, let's just set the setting for everybody. The best running back gets hurt. Tony Pollard goes out of the game. In that moment of time, you're like, okay, here we go. This is the moment where Dak has to elevate his other teammates. It's time, right? The dynamic running aspect of your game is gone. Now, Dak, here's the stage. And that's the delivery you get.
Well, he likes to elevate the secondary of the other team.
You know, I had to watch, so I'm watching the games and stuff. And you see things in real time and you're watching it. And you say, well, okay, that's on him. That second interception I originally thought was on CeeDee Lamb.
It's on Dak.
But then I realized it's on Dak. Why would you even throw the ball right there when you know he's pushing, he's pivoting back out. The coverage says that Ward, the slot dude, is right there. So even if CeeDee Lamb was a stick and stay, he wouldn't have been able to do anything but catch the football and get tackled right there in between 2 dudes. Now, typically, if you stick and stay right there, you just stay. The man that's on him wouldn't have never ran out and tried to get underneath it. Dak should get off of him immediately. That's a man-to-man route. When he pivot back outside like that, that's the only time you throw that a man-to-man because you lost your man. But they were in a zone-type bracket coverage, and all of a sudden, he still throws the football. I'm like, what are you doing? But that's because he ain't reading it right for whatever reason.
Final score 19-12. And I know you say, well, they come away with 3 points, and how does that the difference in the game? Those 2 interceptions, but those are points you could have scored 2 on offense, even just getting field goal range, just keep the chains moving. It really seemed like when a defense plays like the way the Cowboys defense did, you need, like, the last thing the quarterback can do is turn the ball over twice on the road in the playoffs. And I got to imagine that is demoralizing for that Dallas defense.